Welcome back to Enlighten Up. You are listening to episode 9, which is part 2 with Michelle Paisley Reed on channeling and messages from the power of 10. So in this episode, we actually hear from the power of 10 as Michelle goes into trance, allowing the channeling to come through, and the power of 10 speaks directly with Lisa, Michael, and myself as we ask them some questions and get some really great answers from them. But before we get into that, Michelle, Lisa, and I talk about the different kinds of channeling, some of the channeling I've been experiencing lately, as well as Lisa, and what the symbol of the Eye of Horus means, because both Michelle and I have recently seen it, and neither of us knew what that was and how it related to our visions. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So let's jump right into the episode and get to it. It's interesting you say that because, Lisa just started channeling light language a couple months ago. I've been channeling through writing. I do like conscious streaming, like through my in my journal, and it's not me because my writing is speaking back at me, so I know it's not me. Right? Yeah, but I'm also for the last few months been feeling like something's trying to come through, and I've been getting confirmations about starting to channel soon as well. But I don't think I'm ready yet, but I don't know if I'm blocking it or what. But it's exciting. I think it's exciting just because when, at least from the written channeling that I'm doing, it's beautiful. Like sometimes I go back and read it and I'm like, whoa, that was so not me. And when I say me, I mean like me here in like 3D, like Earth Nicole. And whether it's my higher self or other entities that are like coming through me when I'm writing, it sometimes makes me cry because the words are so filled with love and kind of like a cheerleader, you know, like that kind of cheerleader vibe behind it. Like you got this. And it's really cool.
And see, of course, that's why I'm coming through here. Cause again, it goes back to just, we're all vibing that way. And, you know, it's in the early days when I started channeling, cause people ask me about my process, and because I've been in the yoga world for so long, I would just go into a meditative trance and get really relaxed and empty my brain. But I would visualize an auditorium. This is what my brain constructed for me because I would gone to so many of my kids' presentations, right? Performances. So I'm picturing this like cafeteria with a podium of all things. And I would walk to the back in heels, and I never wear heels, so I don't know what this is about. It must be just the sound of heels on a floor. And I would walk to the back and sit in the back, and to me that represented me taking a back seat to my body and allowing them to come up on the stage, right? So for a long time, that was how I transitioned into letting them come forward. And then I just wait. And in the beginning, I had to wait a long time before they kind of took over. And now it's really fast, but it takes some adjustment to that. But now I don't even need to form that construct in my mind. I started feeling like these waves of light, and some more psychic sensitive people have actually told me that they've seen that as well, and without me saying anything. And I feel just supported and sometimes almost lifted up like cheerleaders. It's funny you use that analogy. Like I'm being lifted up like at the end of a football game or something, and they're about to pour Gatorade over me. And then symbol with that looks like the Eye of Horus. And I didn't know what that was.
Oh.
And right in the moment before,
sorry, Michelle, you cut out through part of that and we missed it. Just after the cheerleader, right after the cheerleader part where they lift you up.
I'm going to say, and this is probably a electricity channeling thing why it's cutting out, but I started seeing the Eye of Horus, the Egyptian symbol that's like of the pituitary, or what is it? Not pituitary gland. Your pineal gland, where it's the entry, it's the gateway to your subconscious. It's also protection. I looked it up because I'm like, I kept seeing it. I didn't even know what that was. I knew it was an Egyptian symbol, but I didn't have any idea of the significance of it. And so for a long time, I kept seeing that right when I would make the transition. And so I think your mind does that for
That's
you.
cool. You know, like Lisa was just reminding me, I saw that in one of my meditations maybe 2 months ago, and I'd never seen it before. Well, it's not that I'd never seen it before, but I don't really pay attention to that particular symbol. It's not something I really gravitated towards. And so when it showed up in my meditation, it showed up over a hallway. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I walked down this hallway with that symbol in front of it, and it opened when I got through the end of the hallway and opened the door. It was like I was in this kind of Garden of Eden kind of place. Really kind of like paradise.
Yeah, so we researched the symbol a little bit.
Yeah, and everything that you said is what I found.
And just so you know, the energy over here, I mean, I can tell why you're cutting out, because I'm having convulsions, and there's energy just swarming through this room right now.
I'm feeling it too. Maybe I should channel.
Yeah, maybe this is our cue to go into channel.
Yeah, I can really, really feel it.
Okay, so
because I'm starting to zing and I'm starting to feel like I'm going to go into it. I think it's because we're talking about it, and we're, you know, and how trippy that we have the same symbol. I've never encountered anybody else that had that, and especially down a hallway. Hello, it's a gateway to the other side.
I know. That's really cool. Actually, you just helped me understand that meditation a little bit more. So why don't we let you get ready for channeling, and we'll let Joda do what he needs to do.
So I'm going to meditate, and you can either talk to Joda or just meditate with me, and it'll just be like, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, and then they'll come through, and then you can ask whatever you want to ask.
Okay, great.
Here we go. Hello, we are here. Hi.
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 Exciting.
We're all high. High vibrational. The energy is so lifted and engaged in light here. We love it. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us today.
Yes, it's so good to be a part of this. Yes. Do you have a question?
Well, you know, we were wondering, were you able to listen in on our conversation before coming in?
We are always listening in on your conversation. Michelle has given us free reign, and we love to listen in on her brain and come through her reality. We try and give her some privacy, as you say, but often when she is in the shower, when she is naked and she tells us to knock it off, we try and give her insights. Or she goes on walks and we come in and we give her little tidbits. It's usually when she is telling a story in her head and she gets spun out of control and she starts creating a drama where none exists, and we tell her and remind her that it is all an illusion, that's not real, and that brings her back to reality. The true reality is that she's divine, like all of you see.
Oh, wow. Well, you kind of woke up the dog as well.
Yes, the dog likes us too. All animals do, you see. They do not have to speak. They are all telepathic. You would do well to mimic your animals and beasts, you see.
Oh, well, let's talk about telepathy then, since you just brought it up.
You see, when you are in the spirit world, it is all hanging out for everyone to see. You can't hide behind your mind and your body. Everything is telepathic in nature. And your animals, that is what they respond to. So if you are trying to train them as Michelle trained her puppy Sunny, and she kept saying to do stuff, and the dog is looking at her like, what language is that? And when she visualized the dog going to the bathroom, the dog would go to the bathroom. When she visualized the dog sitting, the dog would sit. You see, that is the telepathic language which animals respond to. It is instinct. It is your intuition. You all have it. You're all animals and human beings, yes? Not doings, human beings. And then the more you are attracted to the vibration of being and being in the present, the more you open up to your telepathic abilities, which exist for all, you see. Too often, again, we go back to Michelle's storytelling. If you are in your head telling a story about how much you have to worry about, and you're thinking about all the things you have to do, and you're judging everybody in your midst, you are not open to all the telepathic guidance that exists, whether it is from each other or from the divine or above into other dimensions where we reside, you see. You block your guidance. by your thoughts.
Yeah, it's something that Lisa and I are just in the last few months really kind of honing, and we have that a little bit together. She has it with her boyfriend, and I actually have it with my niece who's only 9 months old. She sent me a telepathic message, but that blew my mind when that happened.
You see, your little babies, they are evolving to this higher state already. They are already coming into this world with one foot in the other side, you see, which really isn't an other side at all. You say that because your logical mind needs steps and boundaries and walls where none exist. And so, yes, your children are going to become more and more telepathic. What will you do with that? You see, as they are being born into families that are more accepting of their natural intuitive gifts, the more they shall shine. And the more they shine as example to everyone else, the more it becomes accepted in your world, you see. And the more it becomes accepted, how much more magical of a world will it be when all your children are going around telepathic and intuitive, and everybody's drawn to their highest and best, and everybody's blissed out. You see, you're reading that energy of that little baby, and she is teaching you, and it is most beautiful.
Oh, well, can you telepathically read Michael's mind? Does he have a question that he doesn't want to ask right now?
He is terrified of us, and we are here to say there's nothing so scary. You see, when people die, they just drop their body and they move into another dimension. It's just the dimension you can't see. It's just like a spinning fan. That's the example we always use. That when the fan blades spin faster, you don't see them, but they still exist, you see. And when you leave this body vehicle behind, you move into higher dimensions where you no longer see it, because everything is sped up to a place where you no longer can see it, you see. And so as your mind is being blown, Michael, by being privy to all these conversations, the more your mind is blown, the more you will be in receiving mode, you see. Because so often you're a thinker. You're a thinker, and you think, and we feel you in your head all the time, and you are grasping this, and you're saying, okay. And so there's a part of you
sounds like you.
That so sounds like
Yoda. And so if we were to read your mind, all we keep hearing is okay. This is a little weird, but okay. And the more you say okay, we'd like, Michael, for you to turn your okays into giant resounding yeses, and see how that transforms your life much more exponentially. Because when you are presented with an opportunity, do you say okay maybe, or do you say yes? The more you say yes, the more things will form. You see, your thoughts just are creating into form, into matter. And so the more you say yes to it, the faster you will find things manifest into your world. But it is good that you are on the fence. See, it is good that you are saying okay, because that means there's a little opening for us to enter, and you can just feel the love of it, because that's what we're here for, is just to love you into the best and highest version of yourself today in this moment. And yes, you have all these questions that you cannot formulate. You see, you want to know with clarity what your next steps are, as most of you do, yes? And see, right now, what if you could accept that in this moment you are living out your highest and best self, yes? You are a part of something very big. You are part of these wonderful conversations that are going on and enlightening the world, yes? So you are a part of something great, and that is no accident. You keep telling yourself that you don't know how you got into this, and you came into it vibrationally. You were attracted to it. And so there is a place for you here, and you are living your purpose. Stop saying you're not. You are living it out, you see, right now. See, you didn't even know you had a question.
I've been saying okay for about 3 months now.
Yeah, I know. That is
we
such
feel that. Yes.
Okay, sure,
Exactly.
go on. What else?
We have that recorded many times.
Yeah.
I think you just said it. Everybody's kind of wanting to, know what your next step is. And I think maybe we're all, have to remind ourselves not to focus on the future, but just the right now, and what is happening right now is exactly what is supposed to be happening right now.
Yes, it's an acceptance, you see. We tell us story in our book about how Michelle was editing the editor's remarks of another book, and all day long she was doing a program that was accept, delete, accept, delete, accept, delete, you see. And so she realized that life is much the same way. When you are taking your next steps, it's just accept or delete. Do you accept this new knowledge, this new person, this new opportunity, or do you delete it? You do it like you do the laundry, and with that much neutrality, you stop putting so much heaviness into every decision that you make. You see, your only mission here is just to feel as good as you possibly can in each moment, and that looks different for everyone. Yes, what lights you up is different for another person, and yet we are here to remind you that you are indeed, as Nicole says, multidimensional creatures. See, and you can tap into that highest and best version of yourself every single morning. You wake up is a giant do-over. You get to say all over again, I'm gonna no longer bothered by the activities of others. That is their sole agreement to act out. I'm just here to be as happy and joyful and blissful as I can in each moment. That is our definition of success, is keeping that high vibration in every moment, because as you do so, you see, you're closer to the vibration where we reside without a body. You see, you're able to do it to some extent within the confines of a body. It is always going to be slower because your dense reality of a body spins much slower. And that is a good thing, because if everything manifested for you all at once, your heads would explode. We joke that it would be too orgasmic for you, and you all hate that because Michelle's publisher says it is too sexual. And we are here to tell you that the afterlife is a sensual place. That is why right now we are rubbing Michelle's legs, because it uses all your senses. It's not sexual as in intercourse. It is in feeling all your senses fully embraced and alive, even though you no longer have a body. You see, when you release your body, your vision becomes clearer, your hearing becomes better, you taste things without having to touch it. We taste ice cream without putting ice cream in our non-existent mouths. You see, you get all the good feelings with none of the calories. You get all of the good things because
Dream
there's no
true.
such good or bad where we reside. You see, your judgment is all born of your minds, your density on earth. There's no such thing as judgment where we reside. Everything is love and light and bliss. And you see, the only reason you don't attain that is because you tell yourself that it would be boring. And we are here to tell you it is not boring. It is nothing but beautiful bliss and joyfulness. And yes, we come back to teach you some of this, but we teach you by feeling our vibration and knowing that it's possible, knowing that the higher vibration you can maintain while still in this body vehicle, the more fun and activities and adventure and all kinds of opportunities are drawn to you. You are magnets.
That's
yeah,
that's really powerful, because there's one thing that I noticed. We have a friend who does DNA activation, and from the minute I got that done, it's like every day I woke up and it felt like my cells were jumping up and down with joy every day, every minute of the day. And all of a sudden, opportunities were coming to me that I wasn't even trying for. Like, I didn't even think about these opportunities as possibilities. Yes! And they were just flowing in, and of course, that made me happier and happier, and the joy just kept expanding and expanding. And it's kind of like I was in that state for a couple of months nonstop.
Yeah.
And it's just, it becomes so clear how amazing that state is, and how I wasn't there for so long. And so now it's like I want to continue being there, not by forcing it, but also just being cognizant of what it is that makes me so happy and brings so much joy, so that I can continue.
And you see, it can be simple. You can talk to the very cells of your body the same way you talk to your pets. You can talk to them and say, please spin a little faster so that I may enjoy vibrant energy and health. and well-being. You may talk to yourselves like you do your dogs. At least Michelle and Joda talk to their dog, and maybe it sometimes pretend that he is talking back. You see, we are going to let loose a little of your secrets, and you can talk to the very cells of your body that way. And if you did, imagine how much more well-being you might let in. It is simple. It is the simple things. You see, when you cross over to the next dimension, when you leave your body behind, what things do you think will be reflected in your life story, your life review, as many of you call it? You think it is really the giant things, or is it just enjoying the company of another? Perhaps it's enjoying a sunset, and that doesn't cost anything. Perhaps it is a walk in nature, a time when you were very extremely present and in the now. Those are the things that will come to the surface, and you'll remember and feel gratitude for the beauty of your earth. You will remember the hugs that you experience, because when you move on into the higher dimensions, you no longer have a body, and so appreciate human touch. That's what you miss most often when someone makes their transition, is you no longer can touch them. So touch them now, with their permission, of course.
That's a good note to make to our listening audience.
Yes, we have to do that, because there are those of you thinking you're going to reach out and touch someone. Well, now we are reading Michael's dirty mind.
Michael, you got to be careful. They got you pegged.
You can't hide from us, you see.
How does that make you feel, Michael?
I didn't think I was thinking of anything bad, but my goodness, if you think my mind's dirty now, don't catch me.
There's no such thing as bad or good, right or wrong. You're just thinking of touching people, as was perhaps Joda, because we can feel his energy too. And perhaps all of us, when you think about touching, that's what you think about. You think of it as a sexual thing. And yet at the same time, what we are saying to you is that hug more often. Hug people. That's what you're going to miss. You see, and there's no such thing as missing where we are. We cherish everything, because this is just your baby entry level dimension here. This is early on, you see. There are so many dimensions that you can travel to beyond this one. You see, so many. It is hard for your logical mind to conceive of. And we are just here to point the way, to say that there are many, many, many dimensions that you can travel to after you leave this particular lifetime, you see.
Or while you're still currently here, which is what we were, Nicole is trying to understand.
Yes, you're a brilliant group, you see. You can tap into all those things. You can astral travel, as you call it. You can, anytime you
always
meditate.
Wanted to do
and
that.
Yes, we encourage meditation. So many of you deny it, and you say, what's the easiest way to reach us and reach enlightenment? And we say meditate, and you act, it's something else I have to do. And what we are here to say is you're meditating anytime you're in the flow of things, anytime where you are not worrying and thinking in your thinking brain. That is meditation, and that's a way to increase your frequency and your flow and your ability to tap into alternate dimensions, as long as you do not allow fear to surface. And this is an important thing we want to bring up. You see, fear is attached to the body. When you die, you have no such fear. Yes, your body can't die anymore. No one can attack you. You don't have to clothe it or feed it anymore. You don't have those earthly responsibilities as you deem them, you see. You don't have a job to go to. There's nobody to call up. You just want to feel a soul, and it's there because you align. The same is true here. It's just a slower reality. And again, it's more comfortable for many of you. And yet, those of you who are here on this call are finding a more sped up reality. And as you say yes to it, it will become even faster. And those things that you always wanted will show up even faster, to the point where you are checking everything off on what you call your bucket list. And what we jokingly say, there's no bucket. You manifesting things that you didn't even know you wanted, as Nicole mentioned. You see, things show up for you, and you line up with people as you are doing now, and it's all ever so beautiful. That's what we hope for all of you, is to feel that love and success in each moment.
It seems to happen so quickly. The more you let go, the quicker everything comes to you. Like you said, things you didn't even know you wanted show up at your door.
Yes, it is fun.
I'm having so much fun right now.
Yes, it's a blast, as you call it. Yes, it's a blast of energy and fun. More of that. See, you start out as little children playing, and you didn't have any hard work or responsibility or expectations, yes? And then you got really busy making things really hard for yourself, and you get in your own way, and we look up and we are amused. We look at you and we say, oh, isn't that cute? They think they're making everything themselves. And we just watch it like you watch reality television. It's amusing to us as we see you toil. And then we start to say, why are they toiling so hard? We want better for them. And so we give you little clues, and when you're awake, you see them. You see, when you're awake, your highest self gives you clues, and you say yes, because you know that you're going the right direction. You know you're going the right direction. Here's to go back to answer that question of what's your next step. Your next step is always feeling a little lighter, a little happier. You have a little more skip in your step, you see. When you start to feel lower vibrational energies of doubt and fear and worry and resentment, and notice our voices starting to get like this. And when you are feeling hope, that is the pivot point to the higher vibrational feelings. When you feel hope, you start to turn it into joy, which turns into bliss, which turns into ecstasy if you allow it. But too often you get ecstatic and then you freak yourself out because it's not familiar, and you start telling yourself a story which we called self-sabotage, which brings you back down again until you feel more comfortable living in those higher vibrations, which is what you are doing, Lisa. Yes, you are living for longer periods of time, and there is no such thing as time, but there are longer spaces where you're feeling the deliciousness of life. And that is what we would encourage to you. That is your next step. It does not have to be concrete. You see, too often you tell yourself a story that it has to be something concrete. And we would encourage you to keep asking why you're doing the things you are doing. Not how, but why are you doing it? For what reason? Is it for freedom because you are free? Is it for love because you are love? You do not need to seek that which you already are. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, that makes sense. And then, you know, I stay on these higher vibrations for a while and then feel like, you know, I don't know, maybe I just get scared up there and come to a complete, you know, fall to the ground again for a little while and you know, work my way back.
And Michelle does the same, and it is part of your process on this planet. You signed up for it. You were in the ethers as a little baby soul, and you said to the souls around you, let's do it again. Let's create form from thought. Let's create a life story. Let's make ourselves at the center of it. We are the hero of our own story, and you picked parents, and you picked friends, and you picked jobs, and you picked all these things, and then you came in here and you said, oh, this is hard.
I do say that. I know you know I say that.
And everything is so slow. And then you decide to change your storyline. You're like, oh, I would never have picked this. This is terrible. Why did I pick these people who were against me? It was to be born of the contrast so that you would learn anew. And as things sped up, you started having faith that everything always works out, you see. And then what happens is you gain some momentum, and then all of a sudden, eek, you put the brakes on, and you tell yourself you're a fear-based creature. And then you sink, and you attract other people who point the fingers and blame you, and then you're all sinking, you're all complaining. And perhaps you don't do that so often anymore, but we are talking to your listeners as well, because we watch you all yo-yo back and forth between the truth of who you truly are as divine creatures and telling yourself a story of how truly limited you are. You call that humble, and yet we don't want you to go out and brag about it. Masters never brag. We don't go out and say, look at us, we are spiritual ascended teachers. No, you feel the energy, and you are the same. See, when you are living your truth, people will feel it in your midst, and it is that type of positive contagion that we would encourage, because as you go out and live your highest truth, others around you will feel it. They will be drawn to your light, or alternatively, as Michelle stated before, they will be repelled, but you will never know because they won't even come near you when you do not entertain your fearful thoughts any longer. You will see them, and you can accept and delete, accept and delete. Is it something that I need to know about right now, or is it completely what are we trying to say? It is a thought that deserves no merit. And so you delete it rapidly. The quicker you can accept and delete, the more you live in faith, not fear. That is what we are here to tell you.
Thank you.
Do you have any more questions? Because we feel you are all dumbfounded and you're shouting back to the conversation.
Well, actually, you brought something up earlier that I'd like to ask about.
Yes.
You talked about meditation, and I hold some group meditations here, and we kind of focus more on, instead of stilling the mind, allowing the mind to explore imagination and be creative and fun and boundless. And it's, well, yes. I love it. I was wondering if you could speak a bit about how our imagination is actually fifth dimensional thought form, and that whatever we can imagine actually exists.
See, and you all started out naturally doing this as little children, right? You weren't thinking about the future. You weren't dwelling in your past. You were present and thinking either I'm hungry, or I need a diaper change, or I'm going to pretend. Right? And you pretended for hours, all of you, and you made it real, and you felt all the sensations as if it were actually happening. That is the creative use of your imagination, which you all contain in the same way you contain intuition, in the same way that you have all those I words that we explain in our books. It's your intention. It's your innovation. Your innovation, your creations are born of your imagination, yes? And so the longer you spend in imaginative, creative flow, the better. And perhaps you start by emptying the brain, because if you start too much of jumping into imagination, some people's minds might take that and run with it, you see, and then they can't calm down long enough. They're like little children that can't sit down and listen to a lesson in preschool. And so perhaps you calm down and you sit on the rug first, and perhaps you just calm the mind first, and you come to a centered place through your breathing, through whatever method you want. There are various tools, yes, and you come back to your still center, and then you allow your imagination to take form. When you, this is good. When you allow your imagination to take form, what is that but the root basis of manifestation? You all were empowered by source energy to come into this planet. You have all manifested yourself. You have all had what we call God source energy, is goodness-oriented direction. It's the positive organic flow of the universe that always runs through you all the time. So when you tap into that by use of your imaginative mind, goodness, the goodness that happens from that. And so you would do well to play with different methods of meditation. You see, some people can't sit down long enough. Michelle had to do yoga for many years because she had to get all that restlessness out. It's like a little kindergartner jumping up and down until they're too tired, and then they can take a nap. You see, Michelle had to do lots and lots of yoga posers and get in all kinds of crazy positions before she could just sit and relax and breathe. And so everybody comes at it differently. See, some people don't want to just sit. Some people need a walking meditation. Some people enjoy swimming. Some people just like to sweep their floor. And as long as they are just sweeping their floor and paying attention to that motion, and they're not in their head worrying about their past or future, they are staying and remaining in the now. That too is meditation. So many of you, what we would like to discourage you from doing is thinking of it as a chore. You see, when you think of it as something you need to check off on your to-do list, you tend not to do it. When you just understand that it is the key to all your imagination, all your play, then even spending 5 minutes of your day would do more good than 8 hours of toil. And do it first. We tell this to Joda all the time, you see, because by the time he get done with his work day, he's like, I don't feel like doing my inspired, fun, play, imaginatory stuff because he's tired. His body and his vibration is now low from toiling all day. And yet, if he wakes up a little bit early and spends some time in meditation and play and perhaps listening to music and petting the cats and whatever it is he needs to do to bring his vibration up, then the rest of the day just flows lightly. You see, you go into more neutral, and even the tasks that you deem chores become more fun, you see.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of that.
Good.
gosh, this has been amazing. I don't know, Michael, are you like stewing over there? I don't.
He's saying okay. Okay.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with we're all a little dumbfounded, just the amount of information and, so much of what you've said is what I think we've all listened to, maybe not Michael, but Esther Hicks, and just about the truly following your joy and following your bliss. And that's what it's about. And using that to be your compass is how I see it.
Yes, you see, all teachers are going to say it a little differently, and we are no different than Abraham in that we just come from a different vantage point, a different collective. That's just in the same way that you are all aligned, all three of you, and yet you all have creative differences in the way you look at life, yes? We are here to teach things and to expand upon the teachings of Abraham, perhaps, who, at the time that they came, it was such a phenomenal time of change and growth in your world and your society, you see, and we come because we want you to get to the next steps of evolution. We want you to hurry up already. Stop focusing on all the negative. You can start speeding it up by, instead of always learning through contrast, focusing more. Use your focus, which Abraham also states. Use your focus, the power of your focus, to focus on trust and faith, whatever that means for you. And we are not referring to the biblical definition of faith. We are referring to the unshakable certainty that things always work in your favor. You see, we'll leave you with that. The unshakable certainty that things always work out in your favor. And with that, we are complete. And we are most grateful to be here. And we shall bring Michelle back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's Michelle?
He just went to get water.
I thought her water glass was full, but it was not, so I'm back now.
Wow.
She tends to go through copious amounts of water after channeling, because as you can tell, they just barely take a breath and stop talking.
That was fast.
That was
that
was incredible.
My throat's dry. You guys must have had a good conversation. Excuse me. Edit that out.
It was a great
conversation. It's funny the differences between sometimes when you'll have small groups like this, a small conversation, and then I've watched even early on when they got in the room with 50, 100 people, and they were even more animated and almost, out of the seat and dancing and jumping around and talking even faster, just because they were picking up on everyone's energy, and it just kept building. And
sometimes it feels like I've done aerobics the next day. I'm like, why does my body hurt?
Oh, it's so much fun.
Because they're jumping all over the place.
I'm like, you were crawling up on the chair, and she's like, what? Those are always fun films to show afterwards.
Yeah, good times.
Well, I have to tell you, they pegged Michael perfectly, because if there's one thing I always hear him say, it's okay.
He said that at the end of our last podcast when we said something. I don't remember what we were talking about, and he just was like, okay, if you say so. Not buying it yet, but I'm open to it.
Don't you love it? It's like they just read your soul. It just feels like it's a peek right in there. It's a trip, huh?
Yeah, I feel so blessed to have that, and to have that opportunity to listen to them. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was fun. And I haven't done a lot of channeling live like that on shows. But it's so great, because even like this morning I had a stomach ache, and I don't have a stomach ache at all right now, because when I'm channeling, it's funny. I could be totally sick with the flu, and I'll channel and I'm fine. And then about 24 hours later, often it'll come back because I'm re-entering the world. But it goes to show you, when you are high vibrational like that, how none of that stuff it matters at all. And don't you just, I mean, after these things, I really, it sets everything back in perspective. You just really, any problem you saw before the session, it's like, what was I worrying about again?
No, and they left us with the word faith, just, faith that everything is going to be just as it's supposed to be, and everything's going to work out. And I mean, that's just so simple. So perfect.
And I'm so glad this is recorded, because I feel like I'm going to have to go back and listen to it again and again and again, because I find with these channeled messages, there's so much information coming through that oftentimes when I'm listening it to it the third, fourth time, I hear things I never heard the first time.
Right. Well, and that's why we do our recordings. In fact, we're just starting, well, I'm going to put him on the spot here, but we have so many recordings from our live events that we did for the last year, and he's going to start releasing them free on YouTube. Like, that's how Abraham got so big, and we want to do that for people so that they can listen to these messages and how it just gets it on a bigger platform. And we've already got the books are bestsellers, which is amazing, but I think that there's something to listening to it that is kind of undescribable. The hardest part about these interviews is just describing what the power of 10 is. It's better to experience it, because it's an experience. It's not a thing you think about with your head, and you come out of it. There's so much, right? Because there's so much information being thrown at you, and you definitely have to listen to it over and over. And every time I listen to it, I get something new from it. It's amazing. Well, so I'm hoping that the TV crew can capture that, that people can really resonate with the message and make it be one of integrity and not spookiness.
Michael, how was your experience?
Well, considering my first time, it was, I don't know what to expect or what to have expected.
But that's perfect.
Yeah. No expectations. That's the best.
So how do you feel?
It's really hard. This is why I was telling you guys before Michelle started channeling. It's like, I don't know what to even theoretically ask somebody like that or some entity like that. I'm not even sure the proper pronoun, for God's sakes.
Don't worry, I don't think pronouns matter in the dimensions, higher dimensions.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like when you're just like, it felt like I jumped into chemistry class when I had no idea even how to spell the word chemistry.
Well, and you know what? To be fair, a lot of people, we do the hot seat format where people come up and ask questions. And we tell people not everybody has a question, but they'll get it out of you. Even if a lot of times people just get up there and they say, I want some clarity. I want to know my purpose. Those kind of questions come up often. Sometimes it'll be something completely mundane, seemingly, and they'll turn this huge lesson. They'll have this lesson born of that. So you never know what direction it will take. And some people just go up there to us and they just cry because they've never felt the presence of an ascended master like that. And just the energy of it is overwhelming sometimes because you just feel loved. And those are my favorite, where they just can't even get out a word because they didn't know what to expect. Some people are even dragged by their spouse. They're just like, come to this, and they have no idea. They haven't even listened to our recordings. They don't know what to expect.
That's a treat.
And that often those are the people that come out of it with the most profound breakthroughs, right, Joda? Absolutely. Those are the people that, because they had no expectations, all of a sudden, all these things start coming to light because they were just open to it. And that's all you ever have to be, right? Is just open to this stuff. And some of it's, God, when I first listened to myself, I sounded like an elderly Polish woman. I'm like, what the frick is that? I do the worst impressions. So if anybody ever thought I was fake, you should listen to me try and do a British accent. I can't. I physically cannot do it. And so as the lessons progressed, they spoke faster and there was less of an accent, although everything is more enunciated than how I speak. Everything is more eloquent, even in the way that, my body is held. I have different motions than I would normally do. So, I think really, I didn't know what to expect when I first saw a channeler. And I think you have to sit with it and digest it. And, in the days to come, it's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Let it seep in and see if you get some aha moments on your own and make some connections with your own brain and your own life experience. I think that's the best way to digest these teachings. And that's why we're really excited about, releasing the free videos so that more people can get a taste of it.
Well,
and now you can understand when she said, I need you to tape what's going to come out of me. I didn't know we were channeling. I didn't know we were doing anything.
Oh.
And I was just going,
You just sat there going,
Oh my. Well, can you let all of our listeners know where they can find you and all of the things the great projects you're doing that if anyone's interested in connecting with you, how they can get in touch with you and learn more about you?
Yeah. So our primary website is wearethepowerof10.com. The number 10, wearethepowerof10.com. There are links to our Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and our books to Amazon. So you can go there. You can go to my author website, and that's where I have my blogs, MichellePaisleyReed.com. And let's see what else. Our new baby, Your Life Repurposed. If you go to www.yourliferepurposed.com, you can see you can sign up for one of our free webinars that Joda and I do. They're super fun. People love them. And then you can sign up for a talk with us, a free talk to see if you'd be a good fit for our online channel coaching program that we were talking about that really hones in and helps people really achieve and get to that highest calling. And we just started that last month, and it's amazing. It's like my favorite thing right now. And for the TV show, reach out to us on Facebook right now. We're in the funding stages. And so if you want to be a sponsor, there's corporate sponsorship stuff available. So reach out to me and I can connect you with Chuck Powers. He's our producer at BlackRock Entertainment. And that should hopefully, they've been talking to Discovery Channel and they're interested. So we'll see what's born of it. And who knows? And the books. So there's Manifesting Miracles and Money, How to Achieve Peace, Purpose, and Plenty Without Getting in Your Own Way. Look how fast I can say that now. And the next one is Peace is Power. Oh God, I forgot it. A course in shifting your reality through science and spirituality. Thank you, Joda. And then the next one is due out in December, and it's called Keep Your Spirits Up, a simple guide to lift your vibes sky high without struggle or pain. So I'm excited about that one. My publisher, Tom from TCK Publishing, he wanted to make sure that the industry reviewers got a hold of it first. So we're releasing it a little later, but I'm excited because it's a follow-up guide to, Peace is Power is a really deep book. And this is just really continuing it on. If because you don't, when you read a really good book and you just want to keep it going. So Keep Your Spirits Up is keeping your vibe going. And so it's 90 days of just good stuff. And it's amazing. I just proofed the final copy and I'm excited for everybody to read it.
Oh, that sounds incredible, Michelle. We are so excited for you and we are so thankful and happy that you were able to do the show with us.
Yes, thank you. We are filled with immense gratitude. We are so happy to be a part of this. You guys rock. I love what you're doing.
And who knows? Maybe we're going to come down to Costa Rica.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Her name's Laura. I will send you details once it all comes together. I'm talking to her Friday, so it's happening. It's happening, Captain. We can do it. You can lead meditation. We can do a channeling workshop. We can all channel, including Michael.
Yes.
The only thing I know how to channel is remote control.
There you go.
See, I'm good at that one too.
You can channel your inner diva.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being on with us. This was a great show. And of course, we thank the Power of 10 because we know they're still listening. So to all of our listeners, all of the links that Michelle has just said, we're going to have those in the show notes. So you can go back to the website for or in the iTunes show notes to get all of the links. And for any new listeners out there, if you liked our show, you can subscribe to us on iTunes. We also need ratings and reviews to separate us from the others. So please rate us or give us a review on iTunes if possible. We do have social media, so you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. As well, if you need any more information, you can visit us at our website, enlightenup.us. And for any questions, please send them into our email at info@enlightenup.us. So thanks so much for a great show. I think we may need to have you on again sometime.
I think so too. That would be wonderful. Yeah, anytime. Just let us know. This was a wonderful experience. So thank you again.
Sounds great. Okay, well.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Joda.
Thank you, Joda.
Thank you, Joda. Good to meet you guys.
All right.
Yeah, you too. Have a great day.
We'll talk to everyone soon.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.